Hello everyone! My time visiting my parents in the Cayman Islands is coming to an end, but these past 2 weeks have been extremely productive. I'm getting back to Lisbon, Portugal, and will continue dedicating most of my time to the game developments, while also helping 2 local international theatre companies, Ja International and the Lisbon Players, with lighting design and musical composition. The first of these 2 past weeks was mainly spent in game design and tweaking some aspects of the gameplay. I spent a couple of days messing around with a puzzle that wasn't exactly getting to where I wanted, that involved setting a box on fire and push it to a rope so that it may be burned. I managed to get it to work, but in the end I was not quite happy with the overall rationale of the puzzle. So I set it aside, which is always a little frustrating, but well, it happens. I was still slightly unhappy to the way that the character and swinging on the rope were functioning. So I messed with that, found a couple of bugs, and made it work much better. It still isn't 100% smooth as I want it, but it's getting there, and I believe I know how to get it to the next level. One of the changes I made while I was at it was to create a rope generator script. Since I did ropes on my second week of using Unity from scratch, I had manually created a rope, with the several parts of the rope attached with hinge joints and distance joints manually, then put it into a prefab and reusing it several times with small changes. It is not only a terrible method of doing it, as also I realized with the progress of the game that I kept on needing ropes with more variations, and was finding myself wasting too much time with rope tweaking. I came across Bracky's Cut the Rope tutorial, whose first couple of minutes sent me the right way to create a script that evolved with several public options to make different kinds of ropes, such as if the ropes are supposed to be attached to the player or not, if it has a kinematic body or an actual dynamic weight in the end, what is the mass of the segments, etc. During the weekend I went with my parents to a beach nearby called Cemetery Beach. That is an amazing spot to snorkel. The weather was excellent, the water was very clear, so I managed to record a little underwater. This last week, my time was mostly spent with art and developing the next level, including a lot of dialogue writing. You can see here how it looks. I started these devlogs roughly a month after I started tampering with Unity, and after a big part of the core classes had already been scripted, such as the dialogue system, the save system, the loading scenes system, the camera controller and parallax, etc. So I barely spoke about them. Today I'll briefly explain how the dialogue system is constructed. My first decision, after knowing I wanted to write a dialogue system from scratch, was what would be the best format for me to write in. As I told in the first Devlog video, I went with the YAML format. You can here see the construction of the dialogue. I couldn't get at the time a good YAML parser, so I wrote a very simple Python script that runs through a folder of YAML files and converts them to JSON. Even with JSON, I had a difficulty in finding a parser that worked well with the format I wanted, since most of them work with different JSON constructions. I ended up using lead.json, which is far from ideal, and had to make a couple of tweaks to the construction, but after going deep on documentation, it did a trick. There are then 3 other scripts: a character script, which mainly holds the character's text color, a dialogue trigger script that defines how and where the dialogue will be triggered, loads the correct JSON file, and lastly changes the next dialogue it is going to, and a dialogue manager that receives the JSON file from the dialogue trigger and has all the main code. This dialogue manager parses the JSON and has the algorithm to decode what is the speaker and the spoken line, when is there a choice for the player to make, and all special functions. After all is decoded, it will go either to the next line, type it on the screen, or on the buttons. The placement of the text is done in real time by placing the dialogue text box above the character, whose name is equal to the speaker part of the dialogue text file. The last line of the dialogue is always an EOD, meaning end of dialogue, and the number after it corresponds to the next state of the dialogue. This means that if I want multiple dialogues to be triggered from the same dialogue trigger, this number tells me where to go. Since we can have one EOD for each branch, the following dialogue differs depending on the option taken. That is all for now. Thank you so much for watching. In the next couple of weeks I'll be mostly spending time with level design. Since I can't share much from the story and dialogues, and it's what's taking most of my time right now, I'll keep on talking about the systems I have developed early in the process that I haven't shown yet, while of course keeping you updated with the status of the game. As usual, thank you so much for your support. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. If you like what you saw, you know what to do. Press that thumbs up, the notification bell, comment, share, check out my Patreon. Have a fantastic week and see you next time. Ciao!